Alright, hey guys. Here I'm going to be making a diorama update. This is going to be update number 6 for the Intersection Reconstruction Project diorama. So basically, first off, I just want to say, unfortunately, this video might run a little long because I have a lot of information I want to get out, and also I have a few topics to cover, so yeah, it's going to be just me talking. I'll say there's been absolutely 0% physical progress made on the diorama since the last update. I haven't done anything, so you're not really going to see anything, but yeah, that's that. So, I guess on the topic of physically updating the diorama, if you remember in update number 5, I had said that I may mess with the landscaping and some of the other, since I have a 4-way intersection set up, as you can see, I call these grass parts or whatever, I call them boxes or squares or whatever. So I said, I put a hill or a rock face or whatever you want to call it. Actually, I should move that light up a little bit. Or, hold on 1 second, guys. Alright, I just want to move that light over because it was kind of touching that tree, and these lights can get pretty hot. So, just to be on the safe side of things, I didn't want to damage the tree or something like that. So anyway, yeah, as I was showing you, it's a little dark now because I moved the light, but I had built up that hill or rock face or whatever, and I said I might do a little landscaping, or I guess mess with the train and the other squares or boxes or whatever. But I actually gathered an idea that I think I like a little bit better. So as opposed to changing the terrain in terms of hills and stuff like that, I decided I'm going to keep it flat, but I do want to buy some cheaper O-scale houses. If you're wondering, O-scale is 1/43rd. O-scale is the train gauge, which is close to 1/50th, and I think for houses it'll look fine. But I want to buy 2 or 3 and put, either... Well, I'm not sure what squares they're going to go in. Obviously if I buy 3, there will be 1 for each square that does not have the hill in it. So 1 here, 1 there on the far side, and 1 over here. But if I only buy 2, I'm not exactly sure which squares they're going to go in. And it also depends on what has a good angle for... I want to set up a yard too, like a staging yard where they take the materials and screen them with a screener. So it also depends on where I feel the angle for that is best for taking pictures, and also what makes the most sense with the construction project itself. And the thing about the houses is, not only will it add realism, but it'll also add, I guess, another obstacle for the company to work with in the stop motion series. For instance, this rock, you can't really see it because there's dirt over it, but it does go kind of under the dirt there and closer to the road. It doesn't hit the road, but it's close to it. And so I was talking to the guys at the real Montesano Brothers Incorporated, the real company, and they say, when they're breaking up asphalt, they don't usually use a hydraulic hammer, because it's just as easy to cut it with a saw and break it out with an excavator or whatever, just with a bucket. And or if they're doing big time asphalt removal, that might be for laying a pipe across or whatever, but for big time asphalt removal they'll use a milling machine. But they did say if they're breaking up rock, such as this, they'll use a hydraulic hammer. So that'll give me an excuse to use a hydraulic hammer, because obviously In the last update before stop motions, I will go into greater detail. Not only will I overview the diorama, but I'll also go into detail about what exactly the project is. But basically, I'll give you guys a little quick look at what part of it's going to be. Is this intersection, it's going to get turn lanes for all the roads. Now, I'm not sure how many because, they could have, for instance, this lane's here and another one. And the one that would be there would be for going straight and turning right. And then this lane would be a left turn lane. Or if I have enough space, I may even make 3 lanes where the middle lane would be going for straight, would be for going straight, I should say. The far lane, the closest to the center, would be for turning left. And the closest to, what would be closest to me, would be for turning right, either turning right or right and straight, which a lot of roads have too. But either way, there's going to be a lane there, and so they're going to have to remove some rock. So that's going to be pretty cool. And what the houses add for, and the reason why I went through that is because I meant to explain that in part number 5, but kind of forgot about it, so whatever. Explain it now. Now the houses are going to add, if they're laying pipes across or whatever, and adding lanes, they're going to have to cut up the bottoms of the driveways and whatnot, so that'll add some more, I guess, stuff to do. So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Also on the lines of O scale, I'm getting just sick of this traffic light situation. I did some looking around on Google, and I found a guy that custom makes O scale traffic lights. Okay, like I said, O scale will go with 1/50th scale pretty good for some things, not for all, but for some things it's okay. For instance, I have a couple of O scale cars, regular old cars, sedans or whatever, that I use for traffic, and that goes fine with 1/50th, but anyway, not to get off on a tangent, I have a lot to cover. So he custom makes traffic lights, that's what I've gathered from the website, so I figure if he can custom make me those traffic lights, but like I've mentioned previous cases, the problem with O-scale traffic lights is because train dioramas are electric, O-scale traffic lights tend to have wiring, which in turn makes them more expensive. And obviously my diorama is not hooked up with electricity, so I wouldn't need the functioning aspect of them. So what I figure is if this guy custom makes them, I can have him make me the traffic lights and just not wire it. So I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. So, yeah. Anyway, that's about it for the diorama, building it itself. And the reason why I want to add these houses is because, yeah, they're going to cost money, but they're fairly cheap. And while they may not be the first priority in terms of this diorama, money spending wise, they're kind of cheap. And I figure while I'm waiting for models, which I know it kind of sounds funny, why buy something when you're trying to save up towards models? But I might as well add a bit more to the diorama while I'm waiting. So we'll see how that goes. It doesn't mean it'll be the first thing I buy. I might buy a model first. We'll see. It's one of those things that we're just going to play it by ear and see how it turns out. But I do eventually want to have houses in here before the diorama gets going. So basically, that's about it for the diorama. I mean, if I had the models right now, I would probably buy the houses, first of all. But if I had the models and no money, I could technically just work on stop motions right now. But while I'm waiting for models, might as well make the diorama more realistic. That's how I think of it. So anyway, that brings me to my next point that's the other reason why I haven't been able to start yet, is because I just need models. And it's kind of hard to come by money to buy them. And I made the mistake of deciding not to work this summer, which, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal, but I mean, I would have had money to purchase models, so next summer I'm definitely going to work, but, anyway, so, maybe I can find some little job for the rest of the summer, not like a real job, just helping someone out or something, make a little bit of money off of it. We'll have to see. But anyway, so I need a couple of models to start. There's a lot of models I would eventually like to buy, but there's a few that I really want to have just to start. Like I mentioned, I want to set up a staging yard, therefore I need a screener. I have one in mind I want to purchase. Again, it's just about the money. And then I also want to buy a milling machine. The milling machine I'm going to get is the NZG Wirtgen, I think it's a W100F. Montesano has a Wirtgen milling machine. I'm pretty sure it's not a 100, but it's the only Wirtgen 1/50th scale milling machine they make, so it'll have to do. But yeah, so it's all about money, and then of course there will be other models purchased and probably used in this diorama over time, but those are the ones I want to have right at the start of the diorama. A couple other models I would like to get, just to let you know, is I would like to get another 330. And appropriately up the calendar picture for this month by Montesano. Sorry, it's a bit messy over there, but oh well, I'll have to clean that shelf out in a little bit. But as you can see, alright, this tripod's a little loose, let me tighten it. Alright, there we go. That's the picture for August. That's their official calendar, as you can see. There's their logo down there. But that's a Cat 330 DL. So for those of you guys that don't know, I made a custom Cat 330 CL out of my DL. Montesano at the time when I did that had 3 330 CLs, and then I customized my model to match that, and sometime after I had customized my model, they replaced one of the older CLs with a DL. So I really want to get a DL to match that, because for whatever reason I don't think they really take the DL on job sites, probably just because it's so new and they don't want to mess it up very much, but I find they use it in the staging yard and the screening yard. That and the Komatsu. They have one big Komatsu excavator, the PC400. I have one. It's up on the top shelf there. See if I can show you. It's that one right there. Got my custom Montesano logos on it. That's the PC400. The model's made by Universal Hobbies, but they have PC400, and they use that and the 330 DL in the yard. So I would like to get a 330 DL for the yard at some point, but sorry, I'm trying to get it to stay in the right spot. There we go. It's gonna fall a little bit when I let go, but whatever. You guys get the idea. So that's one thing I would like to get at some point. Another thing I would like to get at some point is a one of those Sword Freightliner trucks with the east flatbeds, because I mean, I don't really care if it's Freightliner or not. I want it for the flatbed. The truck cab to me does not matter at all. But, you know, a lot of the supplies that Montesano orders from other companies, you know, like masonry stuff and things of that nature, you know, they come in on flatbeds. So that would be a cool model to have. If, you know, after I get the models, the models that I really want to start the diorama, I'm kind of considering the essential models. So after I get those, that would probably be the first one to get. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much more. I think that's about all I wanted to cover. Just trying to think if there was anything else. But I think that's it. So I'm sorry this video... Oh, no, there was one last topic I wanted to cover. Okay, one last thing, and I'll try to make this quick. So I'm really excited to start stop motions, as you guys either know or can probably tell really easily. So basically, this is one thing that bothers me, and it's just kind of a personal thing, but I really want to let you guys know, because it's part of the thing that bothers me, is that you guys don't know. So basically, you can watch my stop motions in the past. I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest, and there's only one reason. Because, for those of you that don't know, I have a Mac for my computer, and I use I think you do have to buy it separately. It doesn't come with the Mac, but it's an Apple-made software, and it's pretty standard software. It's called iMovie. I use it for video editing, and that's what it's intended for. Now, believe me, it's no big name product used for like movies or any crap like that. It's probably the simplest thing you could get, but it works fine for what I do. It's not like I'm making a movie or anything, so it's all good. But the key, I guess, piece of the word in iMovie is movie. It's made for movies, and I was using it to make stop motions with. And the thing is, you just can't set the frame rate low enough to make stop motions. So since my last Dio, I have purchased a software for Mac that I found on the App Store. For those of you guys that have iPods or iPhones, there's the App Store. Well, there's something like that for the computer too. It's all Apple, but it's for computer softwares, obviously. And I found a stop motion app on the App Store called iStopMotion. I believe it's number 3, iStopMotion 3. And I did a little testing on it with some older photos of stop motions that have already been uploaded, and it looks great. It really does look great. And now I'm sure you can add text and stuff like that on it, but what I do is I put all the photos together, and some things move faster than others, and I set different frame rates depending on what truck it is or whatever, and then I can make individual little pieces, alright? And then I'll take them and I'll export them to iMovie. Once they're in iMovie, it no longer shows up as individual pictures. It shows up as a movie, like a video clip. For instance, on iMovie, when you put a bunch of pictures in, it's each individual frame shows up. But when it's a movie, it looks like one long strip. And once you put all the pictures together in iStopMotion and you export it to iMovie, it comes out looking like a strip like that. And then I can add all the text and crap like that. So it'll look a lot smoother. And it just bothers me that I'm being judged on my stop motions based off... now, when I say judged, I don't mean like in a bad way. I mean just that's how people are looking at my work. And I'm being judged based off of the older stop motions that don't use this nice new software that I got. And it just bothers me because I guess people don't see that I can do better. And I don't know if you guys can relate or not, but, when people are seeing something that's not your best, it kind of bothers you because you want them to see your best. And basically, I want people to know that, I don't want people to think I'm bad at making stop motions. I'm aware that those are choppy, That's just what I'm trying to say. And they will be better with this new diorama and the new software. So that's basically the last thing that I wanted to get out there. I know this video is really long, but I had anticipated on that, as I mentioned in the beginning. So if you guys did really bother to stick through the entire end of the video, stick with me, then I really appreciate that. So anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. That's update number 6 of the Intersection Reconstruction Project Diorama. I'll have probably a few more updates as I continue to make progress on it. But that's about it. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll have some more content to upload soon.